Hello and welcome to another Codecast tutorial. Now today I'm starting a new tutorial series, and this is just a little bit of a dive into Laravel, which is a PHP framework. And this framework is actually made by Taylor Otwell, which is a pretty famous person in the PHP community. So today we're going to go ahead and dig into this. We're first going to get started with a new terminal window, and I'm actually going to go ahead and create a new tab. So I can do that by going to shell and then new tab, and then we can go ahead and get started. Now the first thing I want to do is make sure Homestead is up. And in the previous tutorial series I went ahead and showed you how to install Homestead on Windows. And if you're on Mac, it's not as detailed of an installation. It's pretty self-explanatory. But if you do need a video for that, please let me know, and I will go ahead and make one. So I'm just going to get started by running Homestead up. And if you're on Windows 2, you'll want to make sure you run this command. Alright, so basically right now it's just making sure the box is up to date, and it's just running the box and getting it up and going. Okay, so the box is now up. So I want to go ahead and actually SSH into this box. So we can do that by doing Homestead SSH. And then I can go ahead and list out the document root to see where we're at. And I'm just going to cd in a code directory. And again, it's going to depend on if you followed the past video or not. And then cd in the sites. Alright, so as we can see, here are a couple of my sites. So the first thing we want to do is just start up a new fresh Laravel installation. I'm just going to name it the tutorial one. So I'm just going to paste in this little bit of code I have. So all we're doing is using Composer. So we're going to go ahead and create the project Laravel and then Laravel. And then we're going to use the preferred distribution. And I'm just going to put this in a folder named tutorial. So it's going to go ahead and pull down all of those files to our server, and it's going to go ahead and initialize them. So what I want to do in the meantime is I want to go ahead and take a look at our hosts file and take a look at the Homestead config file. So let's first start with the Homestead config file. So I'm going to do Homestead edit, and this is going to open Sublime Text or whatever your default text editor is, and we're going to go ahead and create a new site. Now what you're going to do is you'll see like a default one. So you'll see what they kind of like the layout is, but in this case we're just going to create the tutorial app or whatever you want to name your app. So what you're going to do is just do a hyphen space map colon, and you're going to do tutorial.app. Then you're going to map that to, and then the relative, or not your relative link, but you're going to just link it to where it's actually at on the system on your server, not on your host computer. Alright, so that's all we have to do here. You're going to want to save your changes, and you can go ahead and close that out. So now you're going to want to run the command of Homestead provision. And let me make sure this is done running, and it's not. It's not done running, so I'm going to come back to that. We're actually going to edit our host file in the meantime. So what you're going to do here is you're going to do sudo vi etc hosts. You can also use nano, whatever you want to use. And then you're going to have to enter your administrative password. Alright, and that was not the right password, I assume. Alright, so as we can see here, I have a couple sites here. And basically, all you're going to want to do is just use the IP address that was specified at the top of that file, that Homestead config file. You'll see like there was like that, this IP address is up there, and it could be different depending on your setup, but most likely it would be this IP address. And you're going to want to use the tutorial.app is what we selected back there, or whatever you named your app to be. Alright, so that's all we have to do here. So when you're done making your changes, you have to press escape, and then if you made changes, you want to do colon, right quit. But if you didn't make anything, you can just do quit. Alright, so that's what we have to do there. So now we have to make sure that this is all done, and it is. So let's go ahead and do a Homestead provision. And by doing this, it will go ahead and make sure that everything is up to date on the server by making sure that all of those sites that we defined are there and they're running. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and open up Safari. And with Safari open, we're going to want to go ahead and go to whatever our site was. And if you remember, mine was that tutorial.app. So we're going to type in tutorial.app, and we're going to go ahead and add a / at the end of that. Alright, So now we're actually arrived to our app now. As you can see, Laravel 5. And this is the landing page. So basically, so far what we have done is we went ahead, pulled down the Laravel framework. We went ahead and installed it. And we also went ahead and made sure everything was up to date. So let me go ahead and just turn off notifications real quick. Alright, sorry about that. And by doing that, we now have our installation. Now we can go ahead and start hacking away and making our site. So let's actually go ahead and do that. So with your favorite text editor open, I'm going to go ahead, yeah, whatever. You're going to want to go to your Finder window, and you're going to want to find where your site is. So my sites are always in the Sites folder, and for some reason, it's not here yet. I did name it tutorial. Let's just make a new Finder window here. Sorry about this. And let's go ahead and go to code, sites, tutorial. Here we go. Alright, so as we can see, this is all of our data. But what I want to just do is grab this tutorial folder and put it right into Sublime like so. So let's open up Sublime here, and let's then go ahead and go into the app folder here, and let's go into HTTP. So let me kind of give you a little bit of a rundown first. So this app folder is what's going to be containing the files that you actually really need to edit. There's two places that you're going to be mainly editing files, or three places. But let me take that back. First place is really in this app folder. This is like all of your site, all of the files that you'll be needing to edit for your site. The second place that you'll be wanting to edit your files are not really so much the config folder. You might have to edit a few things, so you can go ahead and use the .env files, like so. But you're not really, like maybe you, for example, you're going to define a variable in here, so you can go ahead and actually set the variable to something in .env. So you're going to like say that I'm going to set the like, let me find an example, because let's say, so we're setting, or we're defining that this is where the app debug is going to go if it is declared in .env, but if it's not, we're just going to use false. Okay. Oh yeah, you're going to want to probably edit stuff in databases, but you're going to use the builder, which will go ahead and build our database migrations and seeders and all that. We'll go into that in another video, but not today. And you're not going to really do anything in public. That's pretty much how it is. You might change like the favicon. Maybe that's probably about it. Maybe your robots.txt. And you will most likely edit your stuff in your resources. Now this is like your views, and this is also your assets. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to take a little bit step deeper in this app. We're going to go ahead and go at HTTP, because this is the stuff that mostly has to deal with your accessing your sites, where, like, for example, if we add /tutorial to the end of this, we need to like set this up so like this does something. So that's what this routes file will do. So for example, we have this, this first one is just getting this home base route. So if we look at that and we just backspace that, this is what we're getting. So if we take a look at this view, because we know it's a view because it says it's returning a view, let's go ahead and go to our resources and then views, and then we can see that welcome.blade.php. Now, this could also be welcome.php, and it will do the same exact thing. It's just that if you have the .blade.php extension, then you'll be able to go ahead and actually use Blade formatting, which is ships with Laravel. So let's go ahead and take it this welcome.blade.php. And as we can see, it says Laravel 5 here as a title. And I'm going to delete that, and I'm just going to name that tutorial, just so we can see what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and save that file, and then go back to Safari and refresh this. And as you can see, oh wow, it's now tutorial. Okay, so with that being done, we can now go ahead and take one more look at something. I want to make another route, okay? And I want to add the route extension of tutorial, and I want to return the word tutorial. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's access that /tutorial route. And as we can see, it returns that word tutorial, which is what I wanted it to do. Now, we can also do one more cool thing with these. Like, say if I have a tutorial, but maybe if I'm working on my site, and for example, I am going to debut a slug, and for example, I want that to be the tutorial name, for example. Okay, that's not really descriptive at all. This should be tutorial. We'll just keep like that for now. And what I'm going to do is pass whatever this is, and I'm going to, because whatever this is going to be our tutorial variable, so I'm going to define that as the tutorial variable. So now I can go ahead and return the whatever that is as tutorial. So basically, if this here is my awesome tutorial, this tutorial is going to be set as that, and that's what this is going to be returning as. Okay, so let's go ahead and change that back to tutorial. All right, and now let's actually go ahead and run this real quick. Okay, so tutorial, and I'm going to do my awesome tutorial. Enter, and that's what it's going to echo out. Now we can do anything here. We could do 1. We could do 2 or 12. You can do whatever you want to do here. You could do some really stupid little text here and make it really long and get rid of that because that's not good for URLs, and that's what you get. Okay, so basically that's real good and everything, and this is basically a really quick overview of how Laravel can be used. Now this is really basic, and in future videos we're going to go ahead and break this down and actually start making a site, and we're going to actually make a site. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope this has been a great little bit of an introduction. Next video, we're going to take a step further, and thanks for watching. If this has helped you, please comment, like, and subscribe, and please check back soon.